or that would be. It's 5:30. Dave Purdue.
Here.
Luann Ruck. Here. Renita Jones.
Here.
Tony Baldridge.
Here. Okay. Thanks for being a y'all. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic which stands one nation, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. How about you guys? You're not going to talk much tonight, so. Well, the first item on the agenda is a review and approve our minutes.
I'll make a motion to accept the program as written, and I will second.
Okay, we have a first and second, any questions? If not, all in favor? Aye. Motion passed. Thank you. I think we have a group here tonight that's somewhat interested in the rock bars. We'll get to that shortly. Sure, that we can give you that baby what's going on there. I don't have anything to share. Dan, would you like to share anything with your own? No. Nothing.
Law enforcement got called out, so they won't be here tonight.
I see that now, yeah.
Okay, just, I mean, we just have to be the honest.
Is there a report?
He sent the numbers,
Okay,
he didn't have a chance to do it.
so, well, let's talk about, first of all, let's talk about the building. Inspection department. And this is for September, of course. So September of 2024, we had $6,930 in permit revenue. This year, we have $10,680,000. So it's a plus 3,750. Permit revenue year to date. Last year we had 49,810. This year we have 75,600, which is a plus 25,790. We have number of permits year to date is 88. Last year was 93. And so we are well ahead of our normal budget. Since we do have our inspector here at Ike Newman, just so everybody can understand those numbers are so plussy this year because of.
Well, the Havens did a triplex out there in front.
Okay.
That was a big project. We just got in a 11,000 square foot house. That's being built out on Crown Point. And then we got another 8,000 square foot house being built on Case Point down the road. So.
Which would be actually October's probably maybe, or is that in?
No, those are in.
Those are in September, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I got a few new ones that are coming down as well that will be for October.
Okay.
A few big houses that are
Awesome.
being built.
So the world is still turning. Here we go. Let me see if I can find, I apologize, I would have normally turned this on to the sheriff's department. Is there something?
It was in order, it's right there.
It was what?
It was in order of.
I think.
In order.
Let me just, I'll read some stats here.
It's our own report.
Yes, September, comparing September 2024 to the stats of 2025. So called for service, I'll give you 24's first 25. So last year was 142, this year is 169. Reports, 91 last year, 61 this year, a little bit less. Arrest, 21 in 2024, 6 this year. Civil served, 5 last year, 3. Civil attempted, 5 last year, 3. Accidents, 7 last year, 8 this year. So that's kind of it. It's looking good, and
I was just looking at this one, traffic stops, they had a bunch more this year.
Is okay,
Yeah, almost twice. Got a patrolman, I guess, that likes to stop people when they're
that's,
speeding.
well, that's
That's what he
that's
said.
the law, right, so. That's kind of about it, I mean, it's looking good with that, okay, any questions or anything? Not sure I could have an answer. But you guys-
Any questions for Dave? Ron is gone tonight, he's doing his harvesting. He's been keeping up with his 3M.
Okay, as far as the ARPA expenditures have been made so far this month, so we should, so the numbers haven't changed from last month. When we look at budget versus actual, our budget is actually, or our income is actually up above what we budgeted, but the sales tax is continuing to stay down. Building permits is, which is what caused the biggest increase, and so is motor fuel tax, so if you look across the board, the final column, we've increased, our revenue based on what we had budgeted by $61,670. First class money did come in, okay, and it has already been dispersed to the road district. Okay, so that came in and went right back out, but it was more, it was like almost $3,000 more than what we budgeted, the income was. Expenses are down across the board, although there are some categories that have gone up above budget. So at this point, we're showing expenses down 63,967 compared to budget. So from a budgeting standpoint, we are in the positive net income of 125,574.70. Okay. As far as the comparing last year to this year, across the board, income compared to 24 is up by 27,686. Again, sales tax is down by 13,000, but our building department has more than helped that out. Okay. I mentioned we received our first class money, so that is an expenditure on this. And it was actually $1,600 more than it was last year. Okay. Expenditures are up compared to 2024, but that was an intended thing because in our general fund, we've done a lot as far as our IT solutions, as far as cameras and computer systems, our webpage and all that. So those were expenses that were expected or that happened this year that did not happen before. We've done some improvements on the IT department. We didn't get billed for GIS for this year. Electricity is up and we actually provided the village voice this year where we did last year. Street is up due to the increase in the amount we got for the first class money. And the big thing is in our capital funds, we have we're building the pavilion and we've already resurfaced the pickleball court and basketball court. But the year before that, our improvements were made with ARPA money. So that's why everything is kind of weird, but it's all positive. We're in great shape as far as capital is concerned. So it's actually showing us like net income being down like $133,000, but it was planned because we can't hold expenditure on the pavilion and that.
Any questions for
From me,
Well, Lynn, thank you for taking care of us, because you always do a good job with that. Guys, I have your help. We're gonna skip here to, not skip, but we're gonna go to unfinished business. And first, Ms. Dan, are you with us tonight? Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you just fine.
Juanita?
That's okay, Sean.
Well, I was gonna.
I'm just gonna talk about that.
You're on the other side, Casey. I was gonna move Dan up, and originally we talked about, so. If you don't mind, we'll do Dan, we'll let him go,
That's fine.
and then we can jump on yours. My apologies. Dan, I'm sorry. You're
Yes,
with
can you hear me?
Yes, you mind introducing yourself to the group tonight?
Sure. My name is Dan McMurtry. I'm with USDA Wildlife Services, and I've been the main contact the last 6 or 7 years on to do deer removal at the village.
Well, Dan, thank you for chiming in. It's that time of the year for us to be thinking about what we want to commit to and let Dan know what our plans are. There's been a couple things that have happened. I know there's been a meeting with the Port of Chima folks that you attended. You've done a deer survey. And I wondered if you could kind of give us an update on some of those things.
Sure, I did attend a meeting 2 or 3 weeks ago at the building down the road from you. It was pretty much decided, and I'm paraphrasing, that they were going to start create a committee to study it and attempt to increase their archery harvest more before they get into the lethal control like we're doing at the village. That's pretty much that in a nutshell, that they're going to try to, increase archery take first. And then we did do a survey, and then I did send you the results of the last since 2019. I'm sure you shared that with your fellow members there, but we did do one survey, and we completed that. And of course, you still have deer there at the village.
They have those numbers in front of them.
I probably wouldn't, I do have estimated number of deer per square mile. That is a value, but I would look this more as a trend versus actual deer per square mile. I mean, we did the surveys and we calculated the mileage and put everything in, and this is what we get spit out. But I would probably use it as a, now we have since 2019, we have a graph there that shows it goes up and down, and so, the question I would ask you all is, are you comfortable with the number of deer on your village? Are your rock gardens being consumed? Are residents being able to plant, vegetation? And so I'm hoping that you're happy with that. Of course, there are still quite a few deer on your property. Nothing like Port of Chima. We was just kind of anecdotal observations there. Some locations there you can go and you can squat down a couple feet and see the entire vegetation completely cleaned up on their property. There's no twigs and underbrush or anything from about 4 foot down in a lot of areas, and that's called a browse line. And I think at the village, we saw that when we first started, so we have reduced quite a few deer. I think was it the 599 deer in the last since 2019. So it is what it is. You go out and see the deer on the side of the road, so nothing like before. And so we sure serve at your pleasure. So whatever you want to do, what you want us to provide service for you, we can, or it's I serve under your pleasure. So.
Well, I think the more information we have, the better decision we can make. If you look at the trend, and obviously you're more than happy to look at this, but this was the first year and this was the last year, or actually this is the survey. And that's just estimating the number of deer observed per square mile that Dan does and looks at before these hunts, so we can kind of see what's going on. If you kind of see there's definitely a trend. So the start of this in 2019, definitely you can see a difference in how this has helped with the management of the deer. So whoever decided to do that, looks like it's working. And Jim, I think you had something to do with that, so you can see the progress.
Several lines to ensure.
Yeah, so you can see what your good work has done for us. So I did want to share a little bit more information. I did ask the POA what their numbers were for their archery hunt. I don't think we've ever seen that. But I can tell you, starting in 2020, it was they had 12. 2021 was 20. 2022 was 16. 23 is 10. 24 is 14. And then 2025 was 51. So you can see it's kind of averaging around a little bit under 15 per their season.
And that's for both sides, Port Seaman and here.
That's everything that they have.
So they didn't, this isn't breakdown between Port Chima and the village.
No, I just got there.
So. That's a bogus number, I mean, that doesn't tell us anything, because. Like Dan said, they're thick over there at Port Chima, I mean, thick, this is nothing compared to what Port Chima has.
So, just another set of information that they shared.
Yeah.
One thing that we need to kind of think about tonight, we're ready, but Dan is in a situation that we kind of give him a direction on what we need to do. If you remember last year, we did the 15,000, and Dan, I think they gave us 3 hunts. That you did, and you can see the numbers that came out of that hunt.
Can I ask a question?
Sure,
What do they do to the meat when they kill them? I mean, do they just?
great question. It gets donated to the Hope House. And I'm involved with the Hope House, and just to give you an idea, the people that come in there, we feed probably 600 to 750 families a month. They get a checklist of groceries that they can ask for. And I can tell you, everybody checks the deer. They love to have deer meat, so it's a big treat for them to get that.
And I think some in the past, some of the really small ones, they've donated to the wolf sanctuary have been in up closer to St. Louis.
Yeah, I'm
And,
just curious.
yeah, those are the 2 places, rather than taking small deer, they take our, what is it, process. They take those there, and the ones that can have meat on it, that the courthouse can use, they take there.
Good question, thank you. Another set of information is I did reach out to Della, they do not plan on participating in any type of relationship with us or with Dan for next year. So it's really not gonna be different than it was last year, we have the opportunity to repeat. And I'm just gonna ask the board, how you guys feel about it, do you have any information, and would anybody want to ask any more questions, and are we comfortable with this making some kind of decision? Remember, last year was 15,000.
Yeah.
For 3
Pretty
different
nice.
hunts.
Dan, can you hear me?
Absolutely, yes.
So what, I kind of get lost on deer and. I'm not much of a hunter myself, but I totally have a whole lot of people that are. The last year, and again, maybe the year before, maybe go back. You know, the harvest was to take out the female or take out the male or blah, blah, blah. When did that start?
We started in 2023. I wanted to try it once. And we haven't done it since. I think that it was a good idea, and I don't think we removed as many does as we anticipated. Several reasons, because a lot of times the antlered deer, the male deer, have lost their antlers, and it was hard to distinguish between them. And so we only done that at 2023, and 2024 and 2025 we took, the deer as they came to us. So
Okay, and the harvest time again was last year, I think it was daylight hours, is that true?
yeah, so as we've changed tactics over the years, initially we worked at night, driving around in the back of a pickup truck, more or less, with the conservation agents in front and behind us. That was very successful for a couple years, but over time, 2 things changed. I may not say this correctly, but all the easy deer were removed and the harder deer were left. And there's a lot of building going on since 2020. A lot of areas that we worked on in some of our most productive areas are full of houses right now. And so driving around in the back of a pickup truck at night is very nerve-wracking with a high-powered rifle. So what we've done is change a little bit. First year we did 100% ground blind. So we would go to areas that we still feel like there's high deer populations, pre-bait the deer as we're allowed to, as per permit, and have permanent safe hunting area zones, shooting zones that we know are 100% safe. And so that's what we've been doing, and that's what I anticipate to do. If you want us to work again this coming winter, is this, because there are so many areas that are not open for vehicle use in the pickup truck. And so we have to basically park on the side of the road, take our gear behind people's houses in your hunting areas and set up shop and do that way. So I don't want to say it's safer because we were safe when we first did the removing deer of a video. We were absolutely safe. But there's a lot of houses being built in the last 4 or 5 years, and we're not able to do that as much.
Thank you, Dan.
Any other questions for Dan? So does anybody wanna talk about doing this?
I don't see why we don't, because once you start dropping it off a year, then the population goes up. So once it's started, it really needs to be done. Now, last year we cut back a lot because they had them like 5 to 6 days prior to that, or evenings or whatever. And last year we cut it back to the 3. And I mean, even from 2 years before that, we got the same number of deer in less days.
And remember, in 2023, we were targeting emails. And so that number probably should have been a little bit higher. And then, of course, in 2024, we targeted both sexes, and we had more. And last year, 2025, this current year, we only had 3 days, and I think 56 deer in 3 days was a pretty good number.
Agreed. Yeah.
Well, we need a motion if we want to move forward.
Can I add one small thing? I would continue or maybe start trying to push archery any way you can. I know the POA does that mostly, but you know, I don't live in your community, but any way the village could promote archery hunting, in my outlook, would be beneficial because it doesn't cost you, I mean, we're almost nothing, I'm guessing. It would take some time and the energy to do that. But the number of deer removed is very, very small. We go in there 3 days and remove do it 2 or 3 times the number of deer they do whole entire archery season. So I wish there was a way that the us and you and the POA could increase the archery the take. But that's just a comment I want to make, and I would love to help you do that, but I would really like to have, at least as many deer as I remove taken by archery, and that would really cut down on the number of deer on your facility, your place.
That's a good point. I think what we'll do, if the board's okay, we'll kind of see what the Port Chino folks are gonna do. If they're gonna organize something, maybe we can hop on with them and expand it over here to the village side as well. With that, Dan, any more questions for us, or?
No, just I serve at your pleasure, so you give me some direction and I'll do whatever you want.
Okay, do we have a motion to move forward?
I'll make a motion that we continue on with the 15,000 again this year and a 3-day hunt.
I'll second it.
Okay, motion made, seconded. Any more questions? All in favor? Aye. Well, Dan, there you go. You heard it. I just want to reiterate, Dan has been a partner for the village. Back when Jim was one of our past chairman of the board, and he actually got this started. And this relationship has been awesome for us. And Dan is and his crew are very qualified in what they do. They work with the sheriff. I know you work with the game and fish, so when you guys go out, the sheriff knows what they're doing, they know where they're at. There's a lot of things that Dan does to ensure that not only his folks are safe, but the community is safe as well. So Dan, we can't thank you enough for helping us with that and making it as positive as it can be.
As well as, again, I don't know that we've had confirmation from the lodge yet, but the lodge certainly helps us in the lodging. For some of these times, the processors and the Hope House. I mean, there's a lot of people in the background here that,
Does the POA do something with the campgrounds? Is that where they take the deer?
They let them use the campground facilities. I believe they let them use the POA facilities if they need to. And I look back, there's 1,440 pounds of deer donated to the Hope House last year. So those were 1 pound packages, so they got a lot.
yeah.
Well, Dan, again, thanks so much for what you're doing, and you're more than willing to drop off if nobody has any other questions
Is there
for
a
Dan.
time? Is he thinking of a time?
Hey, I'm sure you're gonna come back with us and give us some dates when you get everything scheduled.
It would definitely be after, the earliest could be January 15th, but it'd probably, at earliest really January 20th or 25th. Last year we did it February 4th, 5th, and 6th. So I'll get back with the dates for you.
And I know you and I have been reaching out to Lodge in the past, so we'll continue doing that and getting that set up as well.
Okay, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Take care.
How about now? I did a policy for you, I'm so sorry.
You know, eventually I would have popped in there, so.
I don't think you would, but I know you've been doing a lot of work too, but what would you like to share tonight before we get into some of the other?
Okay, well, I want to share with the gardens, that we, Ron and I made some rounds, a month ago. And looked at the sprinkler system, the zones, and then we had Nelson change the sprinkler, timing for every other day, because it's cooler than needed, so we've done that. I went around, there's some tall ornamental grasses that are getting overgrown. So I'm gonna go around and tag them and then have Nelson's remove them. And then they'll put, a lot of times those roots take up a lot of ground, so they'll put dirt inside of where they pull those up. So I'll be doing that throughout the gardens. Then I also, here in the front, the flagpole garden, I've been looking at it, and I know we've often talked about starting to slowly add some, maybe some gravel to some of these gardens to help mulch. This year or next year, I feel we don't need any mulch because it's thick enough. But at the flagpole garden, I think that the gravel that's by the parking spaces, I'm gonna see about continuing that all the way to the edge to include all that to the driveway and just leave the center part on this side with flagpoles below, leave it multiple right now. And also along the curb on the flower bed, there's some flowers that are perennials and they look nice, but the bloom blends in too much with the mulch. So I'm looking at putting some gravel, different color gravel to pop that up. So I'm getting some bids on what that would cost on those. And then I'm going around looking at seeing what plants maybe will pull and then put more perennials in. So I'm really kind of focusing this year on trying to get, and next year, that our gardens should be more self-sufficient and less maybe plant things that need less water.
Malta, build more whole grades with barrier. We learned one of it, but it will leaves out the barrier block.
Okay. All right, ready, and that's kind of it for the garden area. It could keep me busy enough. On emergency management, the only thing I have to say is, Danielle got an email from the National Weather Service Division. And about a workshop that the Ozark Integrated Warning Team is having a workshop. And so Paul and I are gonna go to that next Tuesday, October 14th. It's something to do, it has to do with the agenda items, basically covering the warning systems and then communication and notification tools that are out there. And the weather ready, like how lakes and I guess rivers are geared up to for bad weather. We like seeing down in Texas how we had a big flood and stuff. So I guess that's what it's gonna cover. So we figured for the village with our sirens to see how we can help. If there's anything we need to know that maybe will help or contact about maybe getting more direct information if we want to do the public broadcasting type of thing. So we're gonna go to that next Tuesday and see what it is. So I'll let you know what we find out.
I think by the public broadcasting, these devices, so that's it.
Yeah, and I'm gonna follow up with our storm siren Wheeling and find out what the status is about where that's sitting. Check with Osage Street, handed the one to join onto that circuit of announcing, voice announcement, so I need to find out what the status is. So that's it for those two items.
Okay. Anything else?
No, that's it.
Any questions for Anita? No. Thank you very much. Again, apologize for that.
That's okay. Don't forget.
On to some unfinished business, is the pavilion update. I think most of you all seen a nice piece of concrete out here in front. I think Ike has some information for us, an update for where we are in the pavilion.
Did the water line, the plumber was here, this morning, we're looking at all the Julie locates, he will be installing the frost-free hydrant. Either tomorrow or Friday. The pavilion will start to be erected starting Monday. They've sent me the CAD drawings and all the brackets. How they wanted them, they're gonna be black, not gray, but he wanted to show them how they're gonna be built, as in, so I can distinguish between what's metal and what's wood. They sent me the CAD drawing, the whole layout. Oh, that's just the timbers, so we 8x8 timbers, and then the rest will be a metal roof with
Gazebo, gazebo, right? Is that gazebo?
it's a pavilion, it's 30 by
Oh, I
40.
see. Oh, I see.
And they'll have pine ceilings in it, and then as soon as it's erected, the electrician will be called to come hook up the lights and the fans and everything, and all the cameras that we put it out there. And then it'll be ready to be used as soon as we get our picnic tables and our grills installed. Be ready to be used for the public. That's all.
Okay. Any questions on that? Well, we're excited, we'll be looking next week, right? See, how long did they say it might take to put that thing in?
They didn't say. We gave them a deadline of October 30th, I believe. To have done before Halloween. They said they may not be able to make that. But their framer and their timbers came sooner, so they got them color picked, stained, and they're moving them well ahead than what our deadline was.
Right. 54 parking update. I know there's two things. I know there's two things that we're doing.
Yeah, he's going me to keep going if I need to know
Yeah.
everything. Okay.
Rock and roll, bud.
On the pickleball court, the road district, they went out there, took out the bigger rock and put in us a new culvert. The culvert we took from the pavilion, we used it over there, and then they gave us another one to extend it. So we'll have parking on the lower side of this basketball court and pickleball, so that. Am I using the wrong word? The elderly people don't have to walk down the stairs to get over, they can park down by it, walk in the gate, and they can play pickleball.
So they can exercise.
So that area has been marked off, grass has been killed, we are waiting for Cooper to come in and root it up and put the new rock in there. And then, once that is done, that'll be packed in and ready to be used. The pedestrian trail handrails, they are at dam steel being built as we speak. Soon as they are ready, powder coated, we'll pick them up. And then I will have the installation done on the trail on those high steep sides, so people don't have that access to fall off the backside of that trail. Trillium Park, the ship has been removed, the mulch has been taken up, the dead trees have been removed. We found that there's only one single pipe on the very end of that areas that drain out, so we're gonna have to put a perimeter drain in to get the water to get out of that whole area because of its timbers that hold it. It's like a mud pit. The playground equipment was delivered today, a week early. It's in the garage. So we'll get, I'll set someone to get that put in after the drainage is put in, rock is installed, we'll get that put in. The soft surface that's in the garage we'll put out there. So we should have a new park at Trillium by spring.
With soft surface.
With a soft surface. It'll look just like our park out here that we did last year with the ARPA funds.
Great job.
That's all my guys. That's it.
You got a lot.
I think you might have some more. Okay, next one is the asphalt RP for progressive trail and filling the cracks.
Nothing.
Okay,
Oh, I'll make that real simple. I guess I can, but I have not heard anything from,
you wanted to share what we're planning on doing with that, so.
well, we're planning on filling cracks pretty much, I want to say from, what would that be? Cherokee, Lynn Creek, what, I kind of forget the name.
You're on Wind Creek and Cornet Branch.
Lynn Creek, yes, yeah. So from there, I think what he was kind of looking at was possibly having to replace some of that asphalt to there because it is really broken up bad. trees are overgrowing it, and it's probably one of our worst spots that we really have here. So he was gonna work up a bid for that, as well as filling cracks and sealing some of the rest of it, so. I haven't heard anything back from him, but my bad is as much as his, but more probably mine, because I'm not pestering him.
Right, we'll get her.
So,
We got.
but anyway, that's all I have.
Are you just looking at this pathway on Cherokee, or are you also?
Yes, that's the only thing that we looked at, that's the only thing that we looked at, because we were just trying to get, just.
The worst,
If we filled the cracks and sealed it, how much does it cost per, whatever, 100 yards or something? So then we can,
then we can move
he
together,
doesn't care where it is, it's just, we just need a number
gotcha,
to kind of put into the
I
budget.
just know that, because I live out the other way.
Yeah,
Some of
absolutely,
those tracks are getting pretty,
Mhm.
luckily we don't have chopped up, broken up pavement.
right, yeah,
It's a big, okay.
Okay, it still has some good walking paths, so.
yes, and they are used.
They are,
They are used.
So our next item is the golf cart ordinance, and I know that's why we got some folks here tonight. Would you guys like for us to kind of stop here? Do you have any more you'd like to address the board on this? Or we can give you kind of an update on what we did this past week. If anybody would like to address the board on anything, I know there's some new people here. So if you want, come on up and.
Just so I want
Pardon?
it, just so I want it.
Who's on first? Jim, you go ahead. What?
Well, golf cart, I think you all know, I'm opposed to golf carts, this is not a golf cart, community never has been. Golf cart communities had special roads for them to golf carts on. We have a very significant problem out here because they're using not just golf carts, using ATVs, mules, all kinds of heavy equipment out, devices like that. You use them sometimes on the trails and other times on the streets. Since it's being used, being abused, I guess the board may consider having an ordinance to allow it. I hope it's very specific, very limited in what it is, a lot of requirements. As far as the fee, it needs to be $100, if not $200, it's $300 fee for them to do it, because otherwise they're gonna do it. Right now, they're doing it anyway, so we might as well have some control over it. And we never did think that this was gonna be enforced in communities like the estates, where they have condos, where people just come up and take their trash, pick up mail with under their docks. Never be the intent, it's what's going on out here on the streets. And on that same regard, we have a problem with not just those, but also on the trails, we have, of course, I always ride by a number of people, kids primarily, using electric dirt bikes, you want to call them like that. And what I find when people complain to me about it is, they can't hear it, they have no sounding device. I had one neighbor that stepped out in front, where she blew, and they came right by her because they're going fast, they didn't stop, they didn't do any kind of signal. So if we're not allowed that out there, we need to be controlled too, with better than this. So I just think that it doesn't exist at all, like you're saying, I'd be highly in favor of that, because if you're gonna do it, make it heavily regulated, and very controlled. Okay?
Yeah, and as when Jim was here with us and we went through this again. Of course, our pedestrian paths and whatever else is no motorized vehicles. Well, okay, then you start splitting hairs on. Back to the e-bikes, is more specific. They might be motorcycle, you call it whatever you want to, but these e-bikes can fly fast and they are quiet, as you said. I don't even remember, honestly. I know we talked about it, but I kind of forget how we ended up on the e-bike thing. I think we just kind of dropped it like, okay. Because there's so many people using e-bikes. But man, I agree. They are fast and they are quiet and
well, our ordinance says something about on the back pathways not to have the walking. No motorized type of vehicle.
and there
So
goes
they
e-bike.
would be e-bikes, so there again too. So there's really something out there already covering it. Now catching them, just like anything else, a lot of times it's hard to catch.
And the e-bikes, like any bikes, they need a bicycle.
I can go as fast as we bike.
One nice little ran over me. and I was like,
But I usually don't ride on the cart path either. I'm on the street, so I'm in the danger zone out there too, so, but. It's a tough, it is a hard.
I think it would help us if we kind of. You know, not make, I think what will happen, and Jimmy can jump in here too, it just went out and out and out and out, it's trying to how to bring it back in. Before we go any farther, would anybody else like to address the board?
I think you all know me, Roger Slee. I just have a couple of comments. I agree with the judge. The safety is a big concern here. I don't really see a big reason for activity on the trails. On the streets, I think there's, with the proper ordinance, golf carts would be okay. The main issue is, number one, safety, no matter what. Renita mentioned that last time. Purdue mentioned the concern about, it's not an easy ordinance to draft. But you've got side by sides, three-wheelers, four-wheelers, electric bikes, so it's not gonna be the easiest thing ever, but whatever. Safety is what we all want, so make the ordinance restrictive. As Lieutenant Elkins pointed out, there is good safety concerns, so that ordinance probably, in my opinion, speed limits are a lot of it. The streets, if they're 20 and 25, in my opinion, 25 is probably okay, but maybe not all the 25s. On the secondary roads, the cul-de-sacs, I don't see a problem. But there's a time of year issue, but we can't probably address that in an ordinance. There's not much going on in the winter, but in the summer it gets really busy, but I don't know how you. So that would be a tough one to write. And with common sense, I think Sheriff's Department does a good job of using common sense on things. There's also an age consideration. What age do they need to be? If you're out there on the public street, you probably need to be 16, but again, it's up to you all to decide if you do an ordinance, what would be the proper one. Also, communication, once we do that, there's a lot of our guests from St. Louis, Kansas City that somehow need to get the word. Perhaps a violation the first time might be a warning, but again, that's up to the Sheriff's Department, whatever. I think there probably should be an inspection. You should have, if you're gonna be out there on the road, you need turn signals, you need the safety equipment with consideration for the other cars. If you don't want to put the seatbelts on your golf cart, that's kind of your own problem. But for the other people, you need turn signals, you need brake lights, you need a horn, all the normal safety equipment. And those are just my comments. That maybe should be a fine for non-compliance after a second violation. You could do inspections. It'd be a pretty easy inspection. Turn signal would be a 10-minute inspection probably, and maybe a little sticker. You should charge something for it. But again, these are just my ideas. But anyway, thank you. And as a citizen, you guys are getting a lot done, and I appreciate it. Thank you. Any questions?
Anybody else?
I would want someone. Yeah, I'm for golf carts out here. And I was looking, please. Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, you have to tell her, right?
Yeah.
So he needs to sign it.
Kevin Traps,
Thank you.
DREPS.
Thank you.
Sign it too. And I was looking at Lake Ozarks deal that's been successful for them that they put in a couple of years ago, I think now, and they have a good set of rules, which I think there needs to be some. And as far as, I've seen kids driving, which I don't think is a good idea. But their deal is you have to have a Missouri driver's license in Lake Ozark to operate it. I think that's important as well. And of course, lights between dusk and dawn. And they can't go over 20 miles an hour. And I've been behind some side by sides on HH that I'm going 46 and they're going away from me. So those things will go. And I don't have a problem with those, but they'd have to keep them under 20 or less if they're gonna operate on the streets out there in Four Seasons. But anyway, yeah, I'm for them. I think they've got a great use, and I've never seen a golf cart go by my house well over the speed limit, like I see trucks and cars and work trucks and all that.
And people on bicycles.
Yeah, they're quieter. And the bicycle thing, I ride my bicycle a lot in Florida, and I always joke that people should have a bell. And so I put a bell on mine, because you don't hear them. And we're in a community that there's a lot of older people, and I'll kind of barely do it so I don't scare the crap out of them. And then I get a little louder, and then they'll turn around and get out of the way. But when I would walk out there, you couldn't hear them. And you're talking to somebody or whatever, and all of a sudden, there they go. Thank goodness, again, we're in an older community and we don't have any speed demons on bikes, but they still startle you. But anyway, I just wanted to voice that I think golf carts out there, and there's already a lot of them. And regulate would be good. And then I think like Ozark charges a $30 fee for a sticker on it. And I think they have a deal where they like to see them inspected once a year.
Police department.
And, you know, you think, well, how's that gonna work? Well, I think something like that on a particular Saturday up here, where the sheriff's office already is, they drive them up here, let them get an inspection. And do that once a year and have several days maybe available to do it, so the sheriff, I mean, where do you go? So just bring them up here and let them inspect them. But I think they should be safe, obviously, you know, you want some more crappy one out there with no brakes. But anyway, that's my opinion.
Thank you.
Thank
very
you.
much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah, it's a couple things. Mickey and I, my name's Don Manley, by the way. Mickey and I moved here, May 1st. And we were asking to move over to camp over at Camelot. No, of course, over there you can have golf carts. But when we came over here, we wanted to go over here, it's a lot nicer, going over that area. You guys got the pools and all that kind of stuff. And I thought this being Lake Ozark, I checked into Lake Ozark can have golf carts. Well, I checked into everything that, and it was a $35 inspection fee. $100, I think, a year to have it. One thing he said too, we need to have slow motion, not slow, a little longer flag on the back. And then the biggest thing is insurance. Everybody should have insurance in their golf carts. That's all I have to say.
Well, thank you so much. Anybody else? Let's come up.
Yeah, I'm Kenny Corbett, and I represent it. I just want to offer my support too. I'm for it too. I think, you know, safety, somebody said safety, that's gotta be the main reason. I think that would be, well, right now, to my knowledge, there's no rules against it or against it. So let's have a rule that if we're gonna say if it's for it, so that it can be safe, and we can have rules and we can, you know, everybody can adhere to it so that people are safe. I think you should have a driver's license for sure. I wouldn't suggest we try to rewrite the rules. Let's use what Lake Ozark did. I mean, it seems, I just have to print that out. You know, just, and I'm sure you like that, but why not do what they're doing? But the one thing I think is, because I have a golf cart, we kind of ride around at night sometimes. It really does promote hospitality too. I'm trying to think of the right word, but you know, we stop and we talk to neighbors, we wouldn't normally do that. I think it's a cool thing to have, and it's a kind of just promotes hospitality, or for lack of a better word.
Well, thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Anybody else? Well, thanks for coming tonight and offering the information. It definitely helped us to figure out what we want to do, but we can give you an update. I don't think we're ready to pass anything tonight. But basically, where we started is this young man over here, city attorney, did a lot of work quite a while ago to start producing an ordinance for us to start looking at. So this has been revisited. Renita and Ron, our two trustees, took on the committee to take that ordinance and look at that and see what we need to do. They've had several meetings. We had a meeting last week. And I'm gonna ask me to jump in there. We do have some questions. We want to talk to the board tonight, but they've done with Todd and these guys have done an awesome job. And I think everything you said tonight, pretty much everything is what's kind of in there now.
I would recommend that you run the ordinance by Lieutenant Elkins, and just, you know, sheriff, someone's gotta make this work. And make sure he has some input into it, because he's gotta be the guy on the streets that makes it happen.
I wrote it where you're specifically excluded. You can never have it.
So,
Doc, to Don and to Tim, everything that you guys mentioned, 16 and older, lights, flags, horns.
Insurance.
Insurance, all that's in it, so if this decides to move forward with it, we've addressed all your concerns.
Sticker inspection, $100.
So we're looking at doing an inspection. I did talk to Elkin, Major Elkin, to get a feel for him of what he kind of thought of the decals, because we're thinking when registration, there'll be a decal, certain color with expiration date on it, so they can kind of observe that for law enforcement. He suggested that'd be great to have those. He mentioned to me actually himself about Lake Ozark doing, the police department doing their inspections at registration of the other golf carts. And it sounded like they didn't have any, probably, our sheriff's probably didn't have a problem with that. We're thinking about maybe setting a certain day a month, setting it up, so we know that we have a sheriff here to do that. Because we want to make sure that the vehicles are equipped with the necessary, equipment. Right now, we have it to where ours doesn't have, our draft. We have golf carts and LSVs, low speed vehicles. And, low speed vehicles require, federal standards require all that safety stuff. Including seatbelt. Golf carts don't, that's where we're kind of debating on that. One place says the driver has to have a seatbelt with nobody else, another city ordinance, something out here says passengers have it, doesn't say drivers do, so it's kind of things like that. So we're kind of looking out for. All those things are pretty much covered. There's a few other things on registration fee, they're talking about that. What to do, we're down to just kind of roads and speed and that kind of stuff is what. Wow.
It's not gonna be as perfect as Osage Beach. The only law enforcement we have out here is by contract with the sheriff's office, so. And they usually have 1 or 2 living human beings that patrol out here, unlike Osage Beach, so the enforcement of that is gonna be difficult. Probably not a problem with Osage Beach.
Yeah.
The other aspect is we've got 50% of these homes are second homes. People are gonna be dragging them in with trailers seasonally. They may or may not be available for inspections, so that's gonna be an aspect that's gonna be a little problematic. We're gonna have to try to approach that as we go forward. So it's not a perfect scenario. We'll grow and we'll have growing pains, but if they choose to go forward with it, we try to put all the different guardrails on as possible.
I would suggest not overdoing it, with all these, because I think, well, first of all, I thought in Lake Ozark anyway, maybe it's LSV low speed, it's 20 miles per hour or less, I think, vehicles, and it's golf carts only, it's not ATVs, it's not all these other things, I think it's golf carts only. And then, two, I don't believe, I could be wrong, but I don't think they have all those, I want it to be
Brakes and
safe.
stuff.
I want it to be safe, but I don't think they require blinkers, I don't think they require horn, safety belts. They require, lights, I think the triangle, permit. Probably some more.
I think flag.
Yeah,
I think a flag.
It's either a flag or the triangle.
Slow speed triangle.
Well,
But they don't-
it does say in their orders, I got a copy of it. That all golf carts must be operated with headlights and taillights.
Right.
From a half hour after sunset and a half hour before sunset, regardless of time of day, any golf cart being operated on a public street must have headlights and taillights. Or a fluorescent flag or slow moving vehicle traffic.
But no blinkers, horns.
Rear view mirror and,
Yeah, we're doing it.
yeah.
But anyway, I wouldn't go overboard with all those other things personally.
The only thing is, you got roads out here that we have a lot of traffic on, fast speeding car vehicles, curvy, our big thing is curvy, hilly roads. It's the big kind of thing that, is out here, that's a big concern. And we all know that people have to ride, or any go right curve. So that, so we're looking at all that to see what, to match, see what.
Oh, last thing I forgot to say too is, I'd love to see it, somehow, I know we can connect, we can't really connect anymore, but you used to be able to go here to Bittersweet. Cherokee to Bittersweet.
Oh.
I'd love to see it connect to, Susan, Carol, and Duckhead somehow, I don't even know if that's possible. I'd love to see some trail where you could get all over the place on water.
So here's where we're at, it's ready to say, and Todd, we're very close. I think this next month, we have some questions we need to present to the board. For example, the speed limit on the streets. Well, what do we limit the speed limit, allowed for a golf cart to run on that street? Obviously, Horseshoe Bend is not. But we're talking about, you wanna limit it to 25 streets that only have 25 mile an hour or 35 mile an hour, so we gotta figure that out. I think if we start adding ATVs and all this other stuff, it just gets crazy. So I think if we could stick the golf carts and the LTs is high, and we've been working on. We did talk about seat belts. There's also one that if you're under 12 years old, you have to have a seat belt. We had a word in about impound. We thought, oh, let's just find the heck out of them. And instead of trying to store all these impounded golf carts. Sheriff inspection, talk about that. We need the clerk and sheriffs to be on the same schedule because Danielle will have to do all the processing for permitting, checking for insurance. And again, it's all. So I think where we're at, if we can kind of summarize the questions that we have, go back out to Todd and back out to the board. In our next meeting, let's all be prepared to go one way or the other. Is that a fair?
I guess my question is. We're addressing golf carts and LSVs. I know Danielle's got calls on ATVs and whatever else. My thing that we're gonna have to think about as trustees also is, if we're gonna allow golf carts and LSVs that are low speed, 20-25 miles top capability, we're allowing them, I know that it's like, if people with ATVs are like, yeah, but mine's are, larger and can go faster, and so why is there a restriction on
Aren't
that?
they street legal anyway, if they are?
No, Tim, the way that works is all state roads, that's basically governed and controlled by states, but until and unless they actually approve an ordinance, it's a strict prohibition against golf carts or ATVs or any of that on the roads. So
Side by side, different.
no, same thing. They actually have to put in place an ordinance to permit any of this on the roadways within the village.
Didn't they do that in Osage Beach?
77 I'm sorry.
Didn't they do that in Osage Beach? Because I've seen some up on Business 54. And if somebody, I said something to somebody, said, oh, they're legal in Osage.
Well, yeah, if it's a state highway, or state roadway, it's basically their baby.
Well, I was surprised I seen them, early days.
Yeah, I think we have some options here again, not let this thing get so. We come out and just address the golf carts and we project it in here.
I've got a UTV that'll do 55.
I have side by
Yeah.
side.
I wouldn't do UTV.
We have side by side like dog song is 70, so.
It's kind of a point of bragging. I mean, at one time, we used to be able to go on the lake with an 18-foot ski boat and, ski nautique, and now we just don't have a certain size. My fear is UTVs will have this huge monstrosities that.
And this is not a rural community as some people, I think Jim kind of alluded to, but this is a neighborhood community, and I would like for us to just schedule on the low speed vehicles and golf carts and say nothing else right now. And then if something comes down the road that we need to come back and address that ordinance, then we can address it. But right now, we can say what you put in there, that's what we go with, and we can say anything else. Not allowed.
Yeah, I just didn't know if in the ordinance, if we would just say ATVs, whatever. Or prohibited, I mean, you know what I'm saying, just.
Well, and the group has been sensitive to certain roads. Bittersweet's not a good idea. Cherokee's probably not a good idea, frankly. There are certain roads that will probably be excluded specifically. It's danger.
Well,
Tony, I would like to see enforcement of what the ordinance says about not having motorized vehicles on the paths, because that's still going to be the case. Gives everybody else.
Good point. We'll make sure, Jim, that's clear in there.
well, and I myself was concerned about golf carts and LSD on roads. and find that they have a top speed of 25. My concern is to do it to say anything on a road that's 25 miles or less, then you're, if they can only go 25-mile speed, golf cart, but speed, that's slowing down traffic. If somebody, people are gonna go 40 miles an hour down the road. So that's my concern, safety. I'm kind of with, Jim and, Roger over there too, just for safety purposes. Is my big thing on the slowness of the vehicles compared to the drives and the curves and out there. So that's something, you can work in ordinance that. Three lines of service.
I'm not a full-time resident, but the historic hike and bike trail is dead. It's a pedestrian trail. They're not supposed to be any motorized vehicles or any bikes on that at all, from my understanding. That's taking all the signage down to the pedestrian. Litigation, whereas those years ago, triggered that. It's a pedestrian trail, so none of that should happen. Just all on that. But that having been said, the bill that's in front of these people is for roadways only, so the hike and bike trails, it has a strict prohibition.
Yes, sir.
As far as, slower movement, that's the whole idea that the rearview mirror, if somebody's behind you, just hold to the shoulder and let that traffic go by and then go on around them. And that's always worked, in Florida, it works fine.
Okay, any more conversations? I think, like I said, we'll just send some stuff out to the board, get some feedback and try to have this ordinance tied up and ready to go.
Yeah.
But Todd reviewed it again and have it on the agenda for approval next meeting. All good?
Yeah.
Thank you, thank you. Thank you. Absolutely. I'm sure we'll see you again next month.
Appreciate all your work.
Thank you.
Thanks for your input, guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm part of it. Yeah, another thing that was the sign ordinance, I just wanted to see how that was coming along. I think it's in European, the sign ordinance, gonna try to grab something up, that's, I just want to.
The sign ordinance is on my desk. I gave priority to your noise ordinance, your business license ordinance, ordinance, and your other topics. Can I talk about here for just a second?
Absolutely.
You guys approved $15,000 this year for that. If we take the USDA's numbers at 50 deer per square mile, you've got 4.59 square miles of the village. That gives us a total of somewhere in the neighborhood of 230 deer village. If you believe Dick's, whatever, Dan's numbers. So we got 230. Statistically, half of them are going to be female. That's 115, 80% of which, according to Google, are going to be fertile. So you've got somewhere in the neighborhood of 92 deer that can give offspring. The average is 1.5 per female. Annually, that's 138 deer that should be born within the village's confines jurisdiction annually. You just agreed to kill 56 more based upon historical averages, because you gave it 15 grand last year, they killed 56. You add that with the POA's 12 average, that's 68 that you kill on average going forward. You're only killing 49% of the deer that are killed that are born every year in the village, according to this statistics, not mine is. So you're killing half. At some point in time, you're going to lose pace with the birth rate, and you're going to have to either increase the contribution or encourage Dan to kill a hell of a lot more deer. When we started this, it was $10,000, $100 a deer, $10,000 was the contribution amount. It's been up and down. That's the numbers. Is if you use his information, the information that Tony brought to light tonight today, basically 12 per year off the web. You're killing somewhere between 68 and 70 a year, and you need to kill 138.
Hopefully the POA will have a different opinion next year if there's some changes on board, so we'll see how that goes. Okay, thank you. We're gonna go to new business. I think we're close to doing a reading on the fire and ordinance and resolution. That's up next. Is that fair? We're going to do that this past week and talk about that. So,
Did you get in contact with the fire department?
I met with Charlie that day
Okay.
and asked him to get feedback, and I gave him her card, and I don't know if you heard anything.
Nope.
I don't think there's gonna be an issue.
Okay.
They already require the lodge to have, liability insurance and permitting through them.
Oh, we're fine, okay.
So they're already ahead of that, so that's why I don't think they're gonna have an issue with it.
Okay.
But it's,
Yeah,
I would also anticipate fewer than 10 parties doing this.
oh, yeah.
If I see more than 10 people putting a big display up, that's,
Right.
it shouldn't be a burden on fire.
I just think when they let them fly, so I can back it off.
All the thing we did, Tom, is we added condos in here. I think you kind of suggested that if we wanted to. Go ahead and-
And I heard my feelings, I think every condominium association probably prohibits it anyway.
Right.
So there's some redundancy there, but that.
Well, my thought on that was only, they probably do, but my thought is in case one kind of complex one day decide we're gonna have a big display for, to do for all the people in town, that's not what I was thinking about. No, I could have gotten that on.
So we need a motion to do the first reading by title only.
I'll make that motion, sorry, go ahead.
Okay, motion made and seconded. Any more topics? All approved? Let's do a roll call on that if we would. On these.
Renita Jones? Yeah. Dick Purdue?
Yes.
Luann Rock? Yes.
And would you mind doing a reading for title for us?
Sure. Bill number 25-01, an ordinance of the Village of Four Seasons, Missouri, repealing and replacing the existing fireworks code of the Village of Four Seasons, Missouri, and enacting a new comprehensive fireworks ordinance strictly regulating the use, sale, possession, and display of fireworks within the village.
Okay. We do need to go to a second reading. Before that, I just wanted to, for the crowd, what we did in content in here, we kind of made this more clear on that they're not allowed in the village. That was really how we started this off.
Well, historically, there was never a strict prohibition against fireworks in the village. Everybody thought there was, but it was never in writing. So you've actually established that tonight by adopting this, this new, chapter 18, article 2. And then you put some more constraints on inspections, licensing, insurance, and things like that.
Okay, now we need a second motion, a motion for the second reading.
I'll make that motion for the second reading.
No second?
Okay, we get motion made second. Any questions? If not, then, if you wouldn't mind doing a roll call for that and, reading.
Dick Purdue?
Yes.
Luann Rock?
Yes.
Renita Jones?
Yes.
Okay, motion passed.
Bill number 25-01, an ordinance of the Village of Four Seasons, Missouri, repealing and replacing the existing fireworks code of the Village of Four Seasons, Missouri, and enacting a new comprehensive fireworks ordinance strictly regulating the use, sale, possession, and display of fireworks within the village.
Okay, thank you. If, any more discussion, if not, we need a motion to approve ordinance 2501.
I'll make a motion to approve bill number 25-01.
I will second.
Motion and second. Any more discussion? If not, if you just do approval by roll call, then, please. For the ordinance, for the bill.
Luann Rock?
Yes.
Renita Jones?
Yes.
Dave Purdue?
Yes.
Okay, ordinance is passed. We now have the ordinance. Todd, thank you for getting us on that.
Thank you.
Business license ordinance.
Tony, you go immediately into the resolution.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, that's,
Piggyback that if you will, it's right now.
It is in order that way, Tony, come on.
It was.
So that's just a motion, entertain a motion, second, and vote for that, and resolution establishing $100 permit.
okay. So we need a motion to approve the resolution 25-03.
I'll make that motion to, We're reading it now, right? The title?
I think what we do is approve it, right?
Coach,
Yeah, this is just a resolution.
Okay,
You're-
okay.
Danielle's gonna fill in the gap and put 25-01 because you adopted that.
Okay.
And so she's gonna put 2501 on the title. We just need a motion to approve the resolution. Second, and then we'll vote.
Okay, well, I'll make a motion that we approve the resolution.
No second.
Okay, motion made second, any discussion? All three? Say aye.
I,
Okay. Next, and after, again. Okay, now moving on to the noise ordinance.
Business license.
Sorry,
Business.
business ordinance.
That was when you tried to.
no.
Let's go read it. We're not talking. We don't want to have to move our papers.
Okay. I have it right here, next to Danielle. Okay, so we have a new ordinance to put in here to basically, Tom, you want to just kind of summarize?
So this was triggered by Danielle and Renee that in their brilliance, they discovered that we really didn't have much of an enforcement on for the business licenses. So if someone came in and didn't have one, we didn't have necessarily the remedy or the equitable enforcement on or the legal fine on to say, hey, you can't do this in the village. Basically, we just sent them a finger shaking letter and then they went on. So this gives some teeth to your ordinance now that they must get a business license. If they don't, this is essentially the information on that.
That's okay, we need a motion for a first reading for Bill 25-02.
I'll make a motion for the first reading of Bill 25-02.
Well, second.
Motion made second, any discussion? If then we do a roll call and also reading the title forms, you great.
Dave Purdue,
Yes.
Luann Rock,
Yes.
Renee Jones,
Yes.
bill number 25-02, an ordinance of the Village of Four Seasons, Missouri, amending chapter 10, article 2, business licenses of the code of ordinance to include section 1030 through 1035 to add text to provide for remedies and enforcement.
Thank you. Now then we need a second motion for a motion for a second reading.
I'll make that motion for a second reading of bill number 25-02.
I'll second.
I need a second, any discussion? If not, then would you do a roll call and read the title, please?
Luann Rock,
Yes.
Renee Jones,
Yes.
Dave Purdue.
Yes.
Bill number 25-02, an ordinance of the Village of Four Seasons, Missouri, amending chapter 10, article 2, business licenses of the code of ordinances to include section 1030 through 1035 to add text to provide for remedies and enforcement.
Okay, thank you. Now we need a motion to approve ordinance 25-02.
I'll make a motion to approve an ordinance bill number 25-02.
Second.
Motion made second, any discussion, further discussion? If not, Danielle, would you do a roll call and a reading of the roll call, please?
Dave Purdue.
Yes.
Luann Rock,
Yes.
and Renee Jones.
Yes.
And you mind reading the title one?
Reasons?
Say audio one?
Read it again if you really want.
You can.
It's all right, okay, it's all right. You're doing a great job.
Yeah.
We'll look out.
Okay, now, noise ordinance. Todd, would you like to also explain what you got this with?
So this is to basically be consistent with neighboring communities, the numbers of decibel levels that are established through this amendment mirror those in Osage Beach. Osage Beach is a larger community with more commercial activity and probably some light industrial activity as well. So they probably are more attuned to and more sensitive to noise levels than even the Village of Four Seasons. So just to remain consistent among neighboring communities in the lake area, Basically, raised lights and the numbers, and permits certain activities. It also excludes specifically, agricultural, golf course maintenance, and some other purposes. Where there's been some controversy in the village, it just kind of clears a lot of it's that activity, which, you know, I've been out here since I was 18, maybe 17, and the golf courses were a driving factor, as a beautiful lodge. And operating is very difficult, pricing to be put out here, so, I just find that there's a certain seasonal activity there on these golf courses. And you have that, it's a lot of that.
Thank you. Just to add that, we have,
In the third paragraph, convenience twice, can we approve that and just mark off the second convenience?
Yes.
Thank you, all right, I first we have to do that before we start making.
Sure.
Good job.
thanks. Okay, just to add to this, we've also, for the villages purchased a decibel reader that Danielle does have, that's available to the sheriff's office, so if we do get complaints, we have a device now that we can set it up on a tripod, we'll leave it, and we'll be recording and logging, so that we'll have a history if there's any concern with anybody.
So historically, Mr. Hogan's requested that on Cherokee near his residence, so this would be a situation where you could set that tripod up, leave the device, arguably it is. That's the obvious location, somebody doesn't steal it, but then law enforcement can come back and you can encourage law enforcement to, through the $80,000 rating that you pay in every year, so I think. Where are you gonna see there? That's the one. I talked to him about it today.
Good.
Historically, there was no way to.
Yeah.
Really reach.
Okay,
That close again.
so we need a motion to do the first reading for Bill 25.
I'll make a motion. First reading of 2503.
Okay. And then I will second that motion.
Motion made second. Questions? If not, Danielle, you want to do a reading and roll call, please?
Renita Jones, oh wait, actually, the reading first, what'd you say?
Roll call.
Roll call. That's
Roll call.
okay.
Roll call. Sorry, roll call.
She's gonna take a roll call and read it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Renita Jones,
Yes.
Dave Purdue,
Yes.
Luann.
Yes.
Bill number
Yes.
2503, an ordinance in the village of Four Seasons, Missouri, amending, reinstating chapter 24, offenses and miscellaneous provisions of the code of ordinance at section 24-169, sound levels by receiving land use.
Thank you. I guess we need a second motion.
Second reading.
You're right. Yeah.
Second motion for the a motion for the second reading.
I'll make the motion, second reading of bill number 25-03.
And I'll second that.
Okay, discussion, if not, Danielle, would you mind doing a roll call or reading, please?
Renita Jones,
Yes.
Dave Purdue.
Yes.
Luann.
Yes.
Okay, motion passed.
Bill number 2503, an ordinance of the village of Four Seasons, Missouri, amending and reinstating chapter 24, offenses and miscellaneous provisions of the code of ordinance at section 24-169, sound levels by receiving land use.
Thank you. Okay, any discussion, if not, let's.
My discussion might be is when they created all this back in the golden days, Judge and our attorney, why did they have to read these things twice? I mean, is there a hearing problem in the Senate and the states, or what is the deal here? I'm serious.
It's customary to read them twice. You have avoided that step because your code of ordinances basically permit just to read it by title.
It's not a big deal, it's just like, here, college,
How it's done. And
no wonder it takes so long to get it.
I just have a question now after we read the title twice. Originally, we were just doing section 24-169, and then we had to add on section 24-167 because of some changes to just locally matched. So should that title include section 124, 167 also. In the title. Remember the three places,
Yes, 167 should be included, so that's sections 24 to 169, 167.
Okay,
does she have to reread them with that?
Uh,
Probably.
how about we do one?
technically, that's the wrong.
Reread it after.
So do you also need to say remove the convenience? in this as well?
No, because we did that as a drafting issue, but no the adoption, so it's already. taken
Okay,
care of.
let's do a motion for a reading by title with the changes.
I'll make that motion since I pointed it out.
And I'll second.
Okay.
Okay, hang on.
I
If
know.
you go in order, then I'll say,
6,
167 and 24, 169.
Okay.
Didn't want to come back, that is, it's not anything.
Okay, who is the second motion?
Renita,
No, I was.
Motion.
Okay, you second.
oh, I'll third it.
Well, Dave, you get to do that right now. Dave,
Yes.
you do? Blue Aaron,
Yes.
Anita does, yes. Bill number 25-03, an ordinance of the Village of Four Seasons, Missouri, amending and reinstating chapter 24 offenses and miscellaneous provisions of the Code of Ordinance at section 24-167 and 24-169 sound levels by receiving land use.
Awesome,
Yes.
good job.
Tell me to do it.
All right, now then, we did the reading, now we need to do approval of this bill 2503.
Oh. I'll make a motion to approve the bill number 2503.
I think that also.
Okay, and
Dave,
any
do you?
discussion?
Yes,
I'm sorry.
Yeah, fine. Okay,
yes,
Blue Aaron,
Yes.
Anita Johnson.
Yes.
motion for Ty. Thank you for letting us hear you out.
yes. Thank you also, for reading on what each of these is about. I think that's really very helpful, you know, on. Not just us, but for anybody that is here to hear it, what we're voting on. Instead of just a number
I agree.
twice.
Copies are also up there if anybody wants.
Okay. Moving on, Village Hall driveway.
Yeah, I just want to give you an update on that. So I got plans, I already have rough sketches made. Having 2 stone pillars, I need to find a sign. And having like a post that, 2 posts that'll be supporting the sign. So I did go, and it'll be on either side of the driveway. I did call in, I reached out to 3 landscapers, Nelson. Ramirez, and then, Surecut, who bought out Paradise, I called Paradise, but Surecut showed up, so I thought, okay, and they said they bought them. So I got that, I got 2, responses back, but some of the instructions is a little vague on it, and I think Bill should kind of be pretty specific on some of the stuff, you know. Like one doesn't say, well, one says the post, but it just says, in the quantity things just in one. You know, so I'm cleaning that up, so I'm getting that stuff, I'm waiting for the 3rd one, I'm gonna follow up on with him. And then once I get that, I'll have numbers and I'll bring it to you guys and with the sketch, what it looks like, and we'll go from there.
I have a suggestion. I mean, if you're talking about community sign ordinance, which is your longest and most confusing
Yeah.
ordinance of all your ordinances.
Yeah.
I'd like to light a fire to it and redo it entirely. Before you spend money, I know you're exempt and you certainly can do whatever you want to with the signs that you want to. You might want to wait and see what that looks like before you do your signs up front, just make sure you're compliant. Don't ruffle with others.
Yeah, cause all what's gonna be these posts, these pillars are just gonna be like 4 feet tall. They're gonna be 20 inches by 20 inches, cause if they go to 18, which I really kind of like, size wise. It's gonna cost more because they had to cut the blocks. So that's kind of the height, so it's not gonna be.
But it still needs to be all within the parameters of the sign ordinance.
So if we put that in a road district setback.
Oh, I'll check with it, yeah.
It could be very
Yeah, I'm gonna check the signage and see our ordinance to make sure I'm meeting at least what we've got now.
Okay. All right, any questions for me? If not, we're gonna go to general discussion, anything there? If not,
Hey, can I, about your golf cart ordinance thing you're looking at? I gave to Renia and Ron these signs that were slow moving.
Oh, yeah.
Slow moving, the pictures like the Amish buggies, but they have one with a golf cart. But we're gonna have to put those on the roads to warn drivers that there's golf carts in the area on the roads.
Oh, I
Nice
guess
catch.
we want to, well, the road district's on
How I will probably talk to the road districts about that, would we not?
Road district, I have no good authority, they prefer fewer signs than more signs.
Oh, yeah.
The flags and the insignias that the vehicles would have themselves hopefully would be sufficient, but you guys want to put some signs up, you put some signs up.
And that thing too could be just like maybe at the entrance of Cherokee or the entrance of Bittersweet, where, so it wouldn't have to be.
But those are roads you don't want golf
Remember,
carts on.
we're excluding Bittersweet and Cherokee.
Yeah, I know, but yeah, I'm just saying, since everything goes off of those two main tracks.
Okay, Todd, anything you'd like to add?
Again, the longest and most confusing sign ordinance, Renita brought that up. I'm gonna take some time on that, folks. I hope you don't mind, but I'm gonna settle down for a little bit. Let's take our time and be patient on that. I think it needs an overhaul completely.
Well, just like we've done with these others, we brought us up to that.
Yeah, if you just be patient with me,
That's fine.
I'll try to get that.
It's like,
I talked, we've talked about this before, but I want to point out, law enforcement isn't here, and I want to talk without the president, but I do want to bring your attention, they put in a report that they wrote one village ticket, last month. Last year at this time, there were 6. You need somewhere in the neighborhood of 80 a year to kind of break even on that aspects of things. They've fallen short of that this year, throughout the year. I can't imagine that crime or speeding and all that's any less in the 4 seasons that it has historically. So you might want to address that in the future. Danielle is being very courteous by mailing me now the tickets because the numbers are lower for me to drive down here on a special occasion. Doesn't make any sense for anybody. So I'm not doing that anymore. I'm only picking them up when I'm here or when I come pick them up. If there's 3 or 4 of them, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. So you've got, you're the prosecutor, traffic matters. So it's not like we have to rush those. So I've arranged for Daniel to mail me those on occasion when they kind of gather a little dust in the folder there. We addressed the business license bill that you guys just passed. We addressed the noise ordinance in my office. We looked at the golf cart bill or talked about that briefly. Dave and I have the proposed bill for the exterior of the buildings. At some point in time, they'll address that. It's important that you get that underway before that C-store gets built over there. That's going to happen because you want to make sure you address their signage and what they're intending to do with the exterior of that building. It'll probably be a 3-sided metal building with some pretty exterior features on the front, but the sides will probably be like every other C-store where it'll literally just be a metal building. Probably that'd be my guess. You want to get on to the schools as you can. We talked about the golf cart bill, and then we addressed that Cornick Drive short-term rental topic. I think that was a successful disposition of that case because my understanding is Danielle said she heard from them and they weren't aware that there was a strict prohibition. It's not that they can be compliant. I haven't gone online to check and see, but Danielle's good at that, so she can speak to that. I don't want to steal her thunder on that. I gave you the numbers on the deer as far as I'm concerned, where you need to be on that. Other than that, I have nothing further. I will confirm that I went up to Patriots Bank and got some money back from them today, and they are at 4.25 for 6 months, so that number hasn't changed. Daniel's going to give those CD rates here in just a moment.
I just got the number 2 days ago.
Oh, yeah, it's 4.25 for 6, 375 for 18, and for a year it was like under 4. So 6 months. That's all I have. Thank you.
no, that's a lot. Yeah, anything, good thing for Todd?
Thank you.
Okay, Danielle.
I have CDs, there's 4 coming up this month, 3 of them in 2 days. All 3 of them are currently at Central Bank, there's one for each fund. You can see below, I went through and all the banks, what they offer, it's listed below that. The one on that comes due, that matures on the 23rd, we'll probably want to recheck rates just to make sure they're the same, but just, it is coming up before our next meeting.
Okay, so we need to make a decision tonight. Does anybody want to throw anything out there?
Well, I would thought on the Patriots Bank, I think we should at least put one of these CDs in that one. I do know, when the CDs mature, trying to get them spread out like throughout the year in case we need something, so they mature at times throughout the year, so we have access to money. So I don't know if we want to put, two at the Patriots, because it'd be the same 6-month mature date. But I do think Patriots, we should at least put one of these CDs there. And then I was looking myself at possibly keep one of them at First Bank of the Lake. There's one that's at, for 4.30, bank, it's the next column. It'd be matured in, May, the 4.3, I mean, that's another higher one that would throw us in another, time frame of maturity. And then Central Bank, if we want to do Central Bank, just to spread the money a little bit. With 3.8, 5 months again. No, 3.85, 5 months, yes.
That's me, that.
Yes.
So you've got 7-month CDs that are coming to maturity, and you have the potential to replace them with a 6-month that pays 4.25.
Mhm.
I think first you have a fiduciary obligation to the taxpayers to get as much a return on investment as you can. 4.25 is your best investment with respect to that. The maturity levels are basically the same. Second, as I look at your balance sheet, you got $876,000 on hand in checking and savings. You remove the ARPA $31,000, so I don't think you're going to be short of funds anytime soon. So this maturity staggering.
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
Okay.
In my
It needs
opinion,
3 different funds.
you guys start
Yeah.
spending $500,000 a year, I'll start worrying about it. But right now, you got, according to the
Okay.
balance sheet, you got $800,000 on hand. So
Okay.
I wouldn't worry about 30.
Maturity
All.
dates.
Yeah.
Okay, with these conversations, does anybody have any other suggestions or recommendations?
I'd say go with Patriots for the higher return.
And that was 4.25 for 12 months?
6 months.
6. Okay.
Would be April, which is fine.
So are you talking about taking all 3 of them out or just taking 1 or 2?
I would entertain a motion perhaps to obviously those that mature at 10/10, but the one that matures at 10/23 is going to be before your next meeting as well. So I would see, if I were Tony, I would entertain a motion to address all of those.
Yes.
And see if we can get Patriots Bank to entertain 1.25 for all of them, even though one matures on 10/23 and the others mature at 10/10. I'm assuming they're going to be very willing to work with you on that.
Who's that checking?
Do what?
Who's that checking?
Our checking accounts at Central.
Yeah. No. We need to keep this one there.
I would think you'd want to keep 1 there. I mean, do you agree?
No.
No.
The
Okay.
$800,000 is making fat happy.
Oh,
They don't
okay.
care. They don't
With
care
what
about
they
your
have.
$100,000 CDs.
Good point.
All right, so it sounds like there's some thought about putting all 4 of these at,
That number that you said though, Todd, some of that is not Central, some of that's Upstart. Just pointing out, it's not all there, it's all.
Oh, you mean
Oh, the
all
check.
our checking accounts,
The number he was talking about,
the 800,000.
because isn't that for all 3 funds that you were talking about? Because all 3 funds aren't at Central.
Yeah,
Oh, I thought
I appreciate.
all 3 of our checking accounts aren't at Central. Okay, all right,
No,
okay.
okay, so we got 4 funds here. Do we want to Does someone want to take something and move all four to Patriot with the 4.25? Based on what I'm kind of hearing, or somebody want to do something different, or?
I'll make that motion, move all four of them to Patriot Bank.
I second.
And that would be for a time period of 6 months. Okay, any further discussion? If not, everybody in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passed. Danielle, you good with that?
I will, since we don't have an account there, I'll need you guys somewhat available to.
Yeah, we'll have to sign all kinds of documentation, because that's what slowed us up the last time.
Yeah,
we tried
so
to
I'll
do it.
probably have to go pull it from central and just have the checks while we're waiting to get all the paperwork.
All right, thank you.
Mhm.
Okay,
The next thing I have is this heating and cooling for this space. It wasn't working very well, so we had them come out and look at it, and there was a fan motor, is that what it was? They replaced, but then they also found a leak in the A coil. And so he gave us two separate quotes, one to replace the A coil, that one is the one sheet. And then they gave us a bid on a whole system. The main reason they did the whole system is because it would come with a better warranty. However, the A coil comes with a year, and the part they just fixed also comes with a year.
Well, it sounds pretty fair, because I just wrote a check for an 8 coil today for mine, and that's just a smaller house, so, in this building. So the price is relatively good. And the 8 coil should last, because they're making them different now, right?
Yeah.
And they should last as long as the unit does, according to my guy. We'll see.
Yeah, let's see.
so it sounds like there's two options here. One is go with A4 or go with complete unit with the A4 or with the new in this unit and air handler.
This only David, I might have been around, but during Jim's administration, they spent in excess of $10,000 on the system. And I think that updated quite a bit of the system. The A coil is the heart and soul of an air conditioning unit. As long as you don't have to change that because of the Freon numbers, I would go with the A coil. That's essentially all you need. You otherwise you're just gonna get a per year air handler outside of 10 grand. That's all.
Yeah, 10 grand.
The Freon is still the old Freon, or has that changed?
I think it's
R134A. That's what everybody's going through, even like the mini splits now, they got rid of the China stuff that nobody could get, because once you put them in, once it goes out, you can't charge them up, so all the mini splits, they went to 134A, so all your A coils, everybody's going to a standard 134A now, even the cars, you can't even buy them.
Okay, so
Yeah.
second we have a motion to replace the A4 at 4311. If someone want to make a motion for that?
I'll make a motion that we replace 8 coil.
I'll second.
Okay, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye, I'm sorry, aye.
Motion passed. Okay, Daniel, thank you. You look at that one too?
Yeah. Got it.
All right, anything else, Danielle?
Nothing from me.
Okay, any other comments from the visitors? Yeah. Sure. Yeah.
On the noise ordinance, thank you for that. And I'll tell you that I checked other places besides at Glen Creek and Cherokee for my places. It happens every time, all along Horseshoe Bend, they come out, they have the same problem, there's some people hear about it. It happens on Bittersweet, Menominee, every place around, so it's not the commercial vehicles, there are some other brain noisy. Those aren't as good as the road districts are, they're getting quiet. It's all people just driving personal vehicles. They have no control over their system at all, they deliberately do it, it's a big offense. When I was a kid, I had some friends that had some duck caps, and some cut out. We used those and went out in the country, we didn't live in town. Anyway, they can use my property to place that anyway, and while Jimmy's not here, or Page's not here, they can use my building too. Wait for some at night, and put in my building out back there, and still have access to it. Jimmy's a neighbor, he walks by all the time, so Just want to know that, clear there's the, okay?
Thanks, Jim. Appreciate it. So, any other comments? No, I just want to recap something that happened today. With the playground for, you needed some help. How does that work and what?
The playground for Trillium's Park is. Don't know how it happened, by the time it got purchased, we got a phone call last week saying it would be shipped today. And it would be here next Monday and Tuesday. Well, I won't be here Monday, I'll be driving back. So we had set up with the carrier to deliver this thing next Tuesday. They called yesterday and said they had it on their truck, they were coming to the village. And they just wanted to make sure we were all ready to like unload this thing off the back of the truck. This was at 3:30.
Oh, wow.
So I was gonna schedule a cruise to, I knew like Dave's guys were born concrete, everybody that I knew was not gonna be able to help us unload this. So I had,
And they made it seem like it was like a truckload.
yeah, we had a forklift, we needed, couldn't use a lift gate, we heavy, so. In a quick moment, they even said they would deliver it last night at 10 o'clock. And I said, that's not gonna happen. Ain't nobody gonna be here.
I'm accommodating, but
I said, I told the guy, I'm gonna get back with you, this I can't get enough manpower to unload this thing, so I'm getting a quick call to Kevin Luttrell, to the road district, I said, hey, what are your guys doing tomorrow? He says, I don't know, I'm at a conference in St. Louis, what do you need? And I said, well, they told me they're gonna be here at 11 o'clock tomorrow morning, I'll put a playground, and I get a couple guys. He said, I'll send them all, he sent all his guys over here. So I'll build his truck and put them in the garage, so the playground is in the garage. So me and Daniel decided we took lunch.
Oh,
Because they were here early, the truck got here early, they unloaded it. Put it in the garage for us, but it was, without having that relationship with the road district, guys I called the last minute, cause I had no idea. It was with me, Danielle, unload this thing. It was,
I'm a muscle.
Then it just been Danielle.
yeah, but thanks to the road district guys for stepping up and helping us out.
Well, I'm glad you told us,
Yeah.
because if we have. The possibility of running into them, it's kind of nice to. Yeah. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Next meeting is November 12th. We need a motion to adjourn and
Make that motion.
I'll second it.
all in favor. All right, thank you, everybody. Thank you for coming. Hanging with us. We had quite a bit to talk about.
Yes, yeah.
yeah, but at least we got the thing done, ordered.